Okay, so moving on. Tell us, Shaun. You went along to a little film festival, I believe, this week?
I did indeed. I attended the Sundance Film Festival.
Great.
Shaundance.
Shaundance Film Festival.
Tell us about it.
First thing, a little bit of background. Sundance Film Festival is I think 2-week long or at least 10-day long festival held in Park City and Salt Lake City in Utah in America. It is a lot of it is about premiering films for the first time, often in the hopes of finding a distribution outlet, finding a distributor, someone to buy the movie and then distribute it. So that all of that goes on at the place. It is not sunny there. The title is a misnomer. It is very cold and there's snow everywhere. Bear that in mind if you plan on being drunk or waiting in line for long periods of time, which you will be doing. So I managed to get on the wait list and get in to see 4 films, which we will discuss in order. I have to begin with Yoga Hosers, a film by Kevin Smith, which was a spin-off of Tusk, a movie he made a few years back.
Okay.
It stars Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter, Kevin Smith, and Kevin Smith's daughter. Also, It stars the blonde dude from the Shannara Chronicles in a completely pointless role. Speaking of pointless...
Where he's bound to excel.
Speaking of pointless, this is pointless.
Oh, really?
This movie, Yoga Hosers, is basically about Colleen and Colleen, the daughters previously mentioned. And it's about them working in the A to Z. It's set in Canada. A lot of the jokes are about Canada and Canadian accents. It's about them wanting to go to a party with some boys. But then also, there's a bunch of Nazi bratwurst things that are climbing into people's butts and killing them.
Oh.
It's
Hey, do you want me to read...
it's not as interesting as it sounds.
Do you want me to read the IMDb blurb on it?
I mean, if I'm going to have this traumatic flashback, then yes, please, by all means.
Well, they say it's a comedy fantasy horror thriller.
Do they? Do they say that? It's not funny. It's not in any way fantastic. It's not thrilling. And then the other thing that you said, horror. It's not scary. It's horrific.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Maybe it's horrific. Yeah, two teenage yoga enthusiasts team up with a legendary manhunter to battle with an ancient evil presence that is threatening their major party plans. Yeah.
Hang on, yoga Nazi butthole party. Sounds fantastic.
There was a lot that could have happened. So here's the thing, right? There's what we think is going to be the core of the film, a party that they want to go to, ends up being a thing, a plot line that happened to happen on the same day as the other fantastical, dangerous event that is actually the plot of the film. And there's no reason that it's coincidental and unlikely. They're in class in school at one point, and their history teacher gives them all the background that they are going to need for the rest of the plot of the film. They get told about what's the backdrop of everything that happens later in class. It just so happens on the day that all this shit happens.
That was kind of handy.
Yeah, there's like 8 characters who are set up and then never come back, and their plot lines and characters never have any impact.
Oh.
Yoga Hosers, terrible. 0 out of 10.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Don't see the movie. It's a waste of time and money. And unfortunately, it seems like the Yoga Hosers are going to return in a film called Moose Jaws.
Okay.
So avoid that too, probably. The next film that we should discuss is one we've actually previewed on Is It a Bicycle? Eddie the Eagle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we
remember this? Eddie the Eagle, starring Hugh Jackman and Taron Egerton, tells the story of Eddie, who was a young... who his whole life wanted to compete in the Olympics, wanted to be an Olympian. And it's about his journey towards the Olympics, trying to be a competitor in, I think, 92 Winter Olympics? He wants to be a ski jumper.
Yeah. Britain's first ski jumper.
First ski jumper. Yeah. Well, according to the film, that's not true. Sorry, they haven't had one since like 1929, and they have no interest in having one.
Oh.
So the plot is very similar to Cool Runnings, which they reference in the movie, which is great.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman brilliantly plays a washed-out, drunk, former hotshot ski jumper, and he is fucking hilarious. They hit every note right in this film. Like, it's funny, it's a little bit saccharine, but not in a way that, it's in a way that is endearing. They know the genre that they're in really well. So they manage your expectations really well. They get you excited for stuff. You care about the dude a lot, but it's absurd and funny how like dumb and naive the guy is, and how like, no, I'm going to do it. But also it is sweet. Like, it actually is just serious enough that you're going to want him to succeed,
Is this a British or American production? Or?
That's a great question. It's definitely an English film. It feels like an English film.
Right.
But they've done enough that it could be an American sports movie as well.
Okay.
So I think that is kind of interesting. But it actually takes place mostly in like Germany and wherever else the skiing takes place that year in the Olympics. But anyway, it's cool.
Sorry, the director's English anyway, Dexter.
And the character, they're basing it all on, is English as well. But I think what I'm saying is it'll appeal to audiences from both sides of the pond and elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I can't say enough good things about it. It's not like revolutionary in terms of its filmmaking or anything. It's just really well done.
It was also filmed in Pinewood Studios.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. But I don't know. If I were to mark this film as well, I would call it a definite watch. Like, everyone listening, I would recommend it to. Which is why I'm going to give it quite a high mark. But I also, again, it's just that they do it really well. It's not so spectacular. It's just really fun. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because everyone should watch it.
Wow.
Everyone should. They'd enjoy it.
What part does Christopher Walken play in it?
Christopher Walken plays Hugh Jackman's old coach.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah. There was a Walken laugh. At one point you see a book that his character wrote. Yeah. So his face is on the cover, and it looks like a book from like the 80s. Yeah. And there was just like a general, that's Christopher Walken. So that was pretty cool as well. So yeah, very good. I would say a must watch. Maybe we'll review it when it's released.
Cool, yeah, for sure.
The next film was called Wiener Dog.
Wiener Dog.
It was called Wiener Dog. It's about a wiener dog who goes around to different people and affects their lives. Huh. It was probably the most Sundance of the Sundance movies that I saw. It's definitely an indie film. It's 4 different stories, different characters, different everything. It's either the same dog or not, but it's, they leave it up. It's probably not. They leave it up to you. How like The Littlest Hobo was he? Oh, I have no idea. I don't know The Littlest Hobo.
Maybe tomorrow I want to settle down. Do you remember that Canadian? You must remember that Canadian. About the Alsatian? It wasn't Alsatian, was it? Going around affecting people's lives. Anyway, go on.
Because every stop I make, I make a new friend.
Thank you, Mark. There we go.
So interestingly, they have a bit in the middle where they do an intermission where the dog walks against a backdrop of different landscapes and there's different weather. And there's a song like, oh, everywhere he goes, little wiener dog tries to find out what he's gonna do. Like, it's like this big American, like, traveling around, trying to do stuff, adventures.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch a movie about a cute dog who, like, makes people happy, don't watch this movie. The ladies next to me thought it would be that kind of movie. So every time the dog was on screen, the dog is very often on screen. These 2 ladies next to me would go, oh, baby. So they're dead now. No, I could not take it. I was distraught for a large portion. So it's 4 segments. If I was to rate it in segments, I would basically go filler, thriller, I think. The point is, it's a mixed bag. Danny DeVito stars in one of the segments.
Yeah.
And it is so well acted. It's amazing. It's blackly comic. darkly comic might be better. It's darkly comic. It's really funny, and it's really sad. Like, it is tragic the way everything goes down. And if I had just watched that, I would just be like, everyone watch this. This is an amazing short film, like 20 minutes or whatever it is. The first one is, there's like a kid. Mike, you would love this movie, first of all.
Okay.
Because so many people say really terrible things.
Nice.
Just really terrible. But also, there's a bunch of weird shit in it that you would never get away with in like a blockbuster or a big Hollywood thing. So Steve, you would definitely like this movie. Mark, you should not only not watch this film, but you should probably just zone out during my review of it.
Kieran
way ahead of you, Shaun.
Kieran Culkin's in it.
Kieran Culkin is great. So it may be important to note that some of the characters in this film have been featured in previous films by this director, but played by different actors and actresses at different points in their lives.
Yeah.
So it's a shared movie universe, but nobody ever plays the same parts.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But you would know some of the characters if you'd watched those other films.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't really know what to say overall about it. I think it's interesting, but I would only give it a 6 out of 10. But it would basically be because the Danny DeVito one I loved and thought was amazing. One of the other ones I thought was very good. And then the intermission thing and the long feeling first section was just like, ugh. Okay. Like, I don't care.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you're interested in those kinds of things, check it out. Finally, The Intervention. The Intervention is a movie by Clea Duvall, a writer-director, and she also stars in the film. Melanie Linsky, who you'd remember from 2.5 Men and the HBO series Togetherness, is also in this show. So is Ben Schwartz, who people know as John Ralphio from Parks and Recreations, and also he stars in House of Lies. There's a bunch of people in it you'll recognize. Kobe Smulders from The Avengers and How I Met Your Mother as well. And everyone in it, even the ones I couldn't remember what I'd seen them in before, I was like, yeah, like I've seen you before, and you are good at this.
Yeah.
So the synopsis, pretty much, there is a couple, a married couple, and all of their friends, to varying degrees, have decided, look, we might need to do something about this. They need to stop being with each other. They need to get a divorce. So the intervention is literally just a bunch of people going out to a house to hang out, as they've done before, for a weekend, out in the woods. A very beautiful house. And the idea is that someone's going to sit two of them down and go, look, this isn't working anymore. So you'd think that that's not enough to hang a full movie on, but it genuinely is. The character relationships are really well shown immediately. Alia Shawkat plays Ben Schwartz's character's love interest. Mm-hmm. So basically he lost his wife a few years ago. So he shows up at this intervention with this 21-year-old in booty shorts, and everyone's just like, oh, really? And he's just like, come on, just, if we could. So it's great. You get to look at a couple different relationships. There's an engaged couple, there's a lesbian couple, there is that winter-summer relationship that I just described, as well as the core, they should get divorced relationship. Here's what's interesting about it. I did, and I think a lot of people in the audience did, think about, well, should they get divorced in their own heads, and started like totting things up? Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was pretty interesting. And then also that puts you in an interesting headspace for all of the other relationships, because the question's so there, right? The question is, should this happen? Should they stay together? Should they not? Yeah. So it's a great device. It's a very good romantic comedy. I really liked it. The ending, I don't know about the ending. The ending with these kinds of things, as we've discussed many times with romantic comedies, can fall into a trap of being predictable. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I asked a specific question of Clea Duvall at the Q&A afterwards about that, which maybe if we ever revisit this, I'll reveal that stuff to you, or you can hit me up on Twitter. But I really liked it. It was unexpected in places, and it was incredibly well acted throughout. So I would give that movie, I'd give that a must watch. I'd give that hey, I'm looking for a movie to watch. What kind of movie? Rom-com. Watch The Intervention.
Okay.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Wow. Okay, cool.
So that's a 0 an 8, a 6, and an 8.
Wow. So, Claire Duvall, wrote and directed. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Right, next.